Hello, everybody, and welcome out to the Pod of War podcast. I'm your host, Eve Gizmo, joined by CW Lanky
Hello.
and the massive Das, Chris Bengali.
Hello, everyone.
So, yeah, as you'll have noticed, there wasn't a show last week because someone, we're not going to name any names, might have forgotten to record everyone's audio. So, the really good conversation we had about Square Enix is lost to the ether. Well, you can hear me talk to myself for an hour if you want, which I think Craig did because it cheered him up.
I think I watched about 5 minutes and it was brilliant because you sounded mental because you were just reacting to nothing. It was amazing.
Some say I'm a method actor, Craig, but... So this week we've checked. Everyone's voice is recorded. If it doesn't happen this week, we're never doing the show again. Chris can host forever. Okay, we'll call it the Chris Pengelly podcast, and we'll just listen to him talk about Derby County.
I've always said that Chris is good with computers, so
it's one of those things that Chris is known for. So this week it's going to be slightly more chaotic than the week that never was, because obviously the last week we had the whole Square Enix show to go through, and instead of just reiterating what we said, we'll just talk about some of the games and be like, okay, here's our thoughts. We had the Xbox Indie Showcase this week, which was an indie showcase, so the people that are on Twitter thinking it was going to be Halo and stuff like that are insane, because they literally said it was ID Xbox Indie Show. So okay, obviously we've had rumours of Discord this week, we've got new Xbox controllers. I'm sure something happened at PlayStation at some point. I'd never ever pay any attention.
You've had the Future Game Show as well, which was miles better than the Indie Showcase.
Shots fired from Chris Pengelly. And obviously you've got the rumours about them shutting down the PS4 and the PS3 and the Vita, whatever, not the PS4, sorry, the PS3, Vita, PSP stores. And we've got Xbox Live now called Xbox Network. All those things we're going to gloss over very quickly. So before we do that, let's talk to our good friend Chris Pengelly, and you can tell us what he's bought this week, you can tell us what he's played this week, and he can tell us what shame he has this week.
Yeah, you only missed out last week because I had no pickups last week, and everyone was going to be shocked. Pengels has no...
Every episode he's going to have a pickup now, because we keep cancelling the ones where he doesn't.
I go what I've been playing. Last week we talked about Avengers, and obviously it's thing. I finished Avengers from last week. I did the final story mission, which has got a really cool boss fight on it. And I started the first bit of the Kate Bishop DLC, which seems pretty good as well. She seems to be voiced by Ashley Birch, from what I can tell. So pretty good voice actress there, which rolls into the Square thing where we got some new Avengers content announced for Wakanda. So it looks like going to be able to play a Black Panther eventually as well. It was actually a very good game. Reviews were like, oh, this is not very good, but I very much enjoyed what I've played of it, and we'll go back to it to play the DLC of that. I've also played Paradise Lost, which came to Xbox this week, which sort of Bioshock-ish, bit of Metro-ish from the start. I thought, oh, this is a bit like Metro when you come out and it's like all snowy and it's set in like Poland and stuff, and it ends up being a bit more Bioshock, but as a walking simulator. There's no combat or anything like that. Some light puzzles and stuff in it. It's okay. It's £10 on Xbox Live. Not many people I would really recommend it to at even a tenner. It's trying to be a little bit too ambitious. Like, obviously it's for that price point and stuff like that. There's some glitches in that. There's this really good sort of like story moment of like a twist sort of thing, and you've got this item. The item's completely invisible, so you're like this, looking at this invisible item. It's like, good. I'm surprised people haven't picked it up, because I've seen on Twitter there's a game called Adios has come out, which has been like doing the rounds of like tweets and memes where someone's like milking and like an invisible cow. And stuff like that. So that's going around. This hasn't. So it's got some issues technically and stuff. If it like comes to Game Pass, or it's like half price or something at some point on Xbox or PSN or something like that, it might be worth a bash if you like walking sims and like the little the story of Bioshock and that sort of thing. And the only other game I've been playing is one of my pickups, and that's Monster Hunter World, which I'm about 7 hours into it.
It's Monster
Rise,
Hunter
no?
Rise, Chris, not Monster Hunter World.
Rise, yeah, I
I
said
don't think
World.
you got that far in World, did you?
No, I played World for like 18 hours, so
It's a
played that for
tutorial
7
in that
so
game,
far.
if you're ever
Um,
asked.
yeah, I've been on another podcast actually this morning as well, talking about Monster Hunter. So
You're welcome to plug it, Chris. What channel can they find it
yeah,
on?
it would be the Monster Mash YouTube channel. So be there for more in-depth, I guess, talk about Monster Hunter and stuff like that. From there, my other pickups, doing pickups, I got the Monster Hunter controller. Here's well, so I picked that up. Sold my plain black one and picked up the cool Monster Hunter one. And then I picked up Nintendo do this often. Instead of spreading out releases and that, everything got wet at once. So we had the 3 new Smash Bros. And the 3 new Monster Hunter amiibo coming the same day. I'm not going to get them all because some are like on the mantle sort of thing, but I have the Banjo one handy. So we have Mr. Banjo, which is Microsoft on the bottom as well. So yeah, that's one of the amiibos. Which you
I
can go back
also
now.
have that amiibo.
Yeah, so that's it from me.
How is Monster Hunter Rise then, Penky? How far in are we? What we thinking? How's it compared to World?
I'm 7 hours in. I've just unlocked rank like 3 or the 3-star quests. It's very good so far. Maybe one of the best looking Switch games, like the character models and stuff like that. Obviously you can argue like Ori's on Switch, is that a better looking game and stuff because of the art style and things like that. But very good. I would have played more yesterday, but I wanted to finish Paradise Lost, especially knowing that was only like 4 hours long. So I thought I'll start that, finish it, get that out of the way, so I can concentrate on Rise. So I'll be playing more of that after this podcast, pretty much.
So does this have? Because I know one of the good things about World was it had probably the best like drop-in co-op.
No, it doesn't. They separated the single player and the multiplayer again, like previous ones. But I did play some multiplayer last night for the Monster Mash podcast, so I could get some sort of context how the multiplayer works. And got to the hub, spoke to one of the quest maidens, spoke to her, and went like random quest level sort of 1, because you got to do like 4 level 1 quests until you get level 2, and they're separate things again and stuff. So join in the game there with 3 other players and that, and we absolutely obliterated the Great Baggy. The mission was done in like 2 minutes. It was just this poor Great Baggy, you never stood a chance and stuff like that. Obviously some of them are like really, really cool armor. I did grind for some armor and stuff, so I got the great Izuki or some armor and stuff like that. It's one of the better low rank armors and stuff until I get into high rank. So I got the complete set of that for the character, my Palamute, Palico, and my weapon and stuff like that. So yeah, and the dog is really cool, moving around the map and stuff, get around really quick. There's no in-game loads or anything like that. There used to be a thing, the monster had gone to zone 4 or something, you go to zone 4 and you'll be waiting for a loading screen. None of that. It's actually really quick loading as well, because obviously it's on the Switch, so no like SSD or anything like that. Capcom, I think, has done an amazing job getting this game on Switch. I know we have like Doom and stuff on Switch, which are like technically impressive, but I think this, for the overall technical side of it, I think it's very good. So yeah.
Yeah, Capcom
Is this
have been
the one?
kicking it. Is this the one?
Is this the one you're going to stick with, Pengy? Because we've had some whiffs on the Switch so far. Are you confident? Are you?
Oh yeah. This is
Whiffs
already
is very
my
polite.
apart from my project Triangle Strategy. This is already my most played Switch game this year. Like I said, what I've enjoyed so far is good. The characters were really good. Monster Hunter has never really been known for its story, but there has been like grabs and stuff. It's simple stuff like, oh, there's a monster in the way. I can't get my rice to make Fluffy Bunny Dango. Can you go kill the monster? And like obviously you do the quest for the character and stuff like that. So yeah, very good so far.
No, so Monster Hunter is always one of those games that I've personally also tried to get into many times. I pulled out while we were waiting Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate on the old Wii U, One of my favorite games on the Wii U. Played this one a lot, but I think World we tried on PS4, right, Craig, if I remember rightly. And I keep getting the urge to download it on Game Pass, but it is a commitment. It is a commitment. Rise looks fun. Again, I knew I wouldn't play it, that's why I didn't buy it. And obviously Craig doesn't have a Switch. So.
Yeah, if I could transfer my saves from my PS4 one to Xbox, I would. Because I played World a lot. I think I got really far in that.
Yeah, the DLC is supposed to be great as well.
Saves and do the DLC, I'd do that, but I don't want to put I think I've probably put 70, 80 hours into World on PS4. I just don't want to do that again just to play the DLC. So.
Yeah, and it's one of those things as well. Like, there is so many other games on Game Pass.
Yep.
And you think you've got Outriders next week, which is a similar-ish type of game in terms of co-op, right? So it's difficult. Well, that's good, Pengi. I'm glad to see you're playing some Rise, and I look forward to watching the Monster Mash podcast.
Yeah, sure.
At some point when that goes live, I imagine that is that YouTube Monster Mash pod, is it? Or...
yes, I believe so. He's gonna record with the regular guys who play work for 1,500 hours and stuff like that, and do a mixed or 2 separate episodes, because he did think we would be a 15-20 minutes yap, and we managed to talk about Monster Hunter for an hour. So
yeah, it's that type of game, to be
fair. That's just even with us, without the guys that play it religiously. So see what happens with there. So it'll be up soon.
Cheeky. Well, I'll go before Craig, because I always like leaving Craig for last. So this week I have been playing Warhammer Vermintide 2 with some friends who just bought Xboxes. So really fun co-op game. It just makes me so excited for Dark Tide when it comes to Game Pass, because the thought of playing a game like that in a sci-fi setting with some with some shooter elements is cool. It is actually X enhanced, which I didn't know. So Vermintide 2 is fun. Hopefully I can drag Craig on there at some point soon. Get him involved in the medieval murder. Obviously, we missed last week's show. I've also been playing Avengers, and as we talked about quite a lot in that show, was actually very surprised by how good the game is. It's a good quality game. I think if you can get it cheap, or if it comes to Game Pass or something, I do recommend it. Especially at the moment when MCU is so powerful, everyone's enjoying all the MCU shows so much. I think it fits. It's pretty fun right now.
MCU costumes as well.
Yeah, they put in the roadmap from last week that MCU skins are coming, Wakanda's coming, you've got the 2 DLC packs out now, and all this kind of good stuff. So it's a game I think is going to last at least another 12 months. So it's a good investment. It's a little bit repetitive, I guess, in places, but I could see certainly in co-op that it's a fun. I could see if it was on Game Pass, me and Craig would just jump on, play a couple missions, have a good time, chat bollocks for an hour, and it does its job. So that's pretty good. Obviously, I've played more Football Manager. We don't need to talk about that on the podcast because you just don't need to know. And FIFA, weirdly, this week, quite a lot of pro clubs from the Rambos, the mighty Rambos, as we charge up the divisions on Series X and S. Other than that, it's been a very quiet week. Obviously, Fire Emblem Three Houses I finished. I think I talked about it last week. I finished the first playthrough. I'm now playing the DLC, which then gives me an option to have those characters and a new section in the next playthrough that I play. So it's a fun game. I will eventually get to all 4 endings, I think, but they are minimum 30-hour playthroughs each time. So, but it's fun. I'm enjoying it. And I've had one physical pickup this week, which was Final Fantasy Dissidia NT, which is a Final Fantasy fighting game, basically. And it was £4. And I was like, you know what? It's payday. I can't afford to buy myself anything nice this month, so I wanted to buy myself a game. It was £4, so I bought myself a game. Okay? Shoot me. Whatever. I'm trying to think what else we talked about last week in terms of what we've been playing. I don't think there was too much excitement from my end. I think Craig might have a little bit to talk about, but again, you had a week off, didn't you, the week before? So merging Craig's gameplay into 2 weeks might actually be good for him. We'll see. But yeah, I think that's it. As in for the fantasy draft, because we haven't talked about that, because obviously we're out of loop a bit. Hasn't been too much movement in terms of pickups or drops. I think I dropped a game, and then I picked up another game. My brain has now melted.
You picked up Life is Strange 2.
There we go. I picked up Life is Strange from the event, and I dropped the game that's been delayed to next year. So that's fine. We'll talk about that more next week. I think next week we'll be back into a flow of a real topic and a real strategy. Okay, so I just don't want to click off the screen to go onto Chrome and then it kill the audio. So we will try that again next week. So without further ado, Craig, let us know what this last fortnight of gaming has been for you.
So mine on the episode that we lost, I think all I'd played was Nier Automata, and this week all I've really played is a little bit more Nier Automata. I've still not played much just because I'm busy with work, so I've just played little bits here and there. I have now got the first proper ending.
Whee.
So I finished that, and then I randomly got, when you start your second playthrough as a second character, I randomly got one of the joke endings, because literally right at the start of the playthrough, you're meant to go one way, and I was like, oh, I'm just going to explore over this way, see what's over here, and it triggered one of the joke endings. So I've actually technically got two endings now, but yeah, one of them's like nothing.
Yeah.
And I'm about probably just over halfway through the second playthrough, I'm going to guess. I had a look on my True Achievements earlier, and according to True Achievements, I've got about 25 hours into this game already, so I'm really enjoying it. So, piling in the hours when I can. Kind of trying to do all the side quests I can do at the moment. I think about 62%. There's an achievement for getting to 80% on the quests completed. So I'm getting there with that, and that is literally all I've played. I've actually got a pickup, but it's not physical. The digital pickup, which was the Resident Evil 7 season pass.
I saw
Yes.
that was on sale. I was gonna put in the group because I remember you saying about it.
Don't worry,
when you
I was straight in there, Chris.
Yeah, they text you straight away on the Capcom sale, so I picked that up. So I've got all three of the DLCs now, so I will play them at some point, hopefully before Resident Evil Village comes out. But that's all I've been playing. Not even played any Wreckfest this week. So.
Yeah, I think the Wreckfest little phase might have died now for me because I was playing it multiplayer.
Oh no, I still want to finish that game. Still want to finish that game.
Yeah, like I think I played too many racing games in too short a session really. But I'm having a very indecisive week. I have them most weeks, but because I've been worried about other outside of life things this week, it's been really bad for me trying to pick a game to play. So I think Wreckfest might be dead for me at this point. But nice. So Nier Automata is one of those games as well that it's you kind of, if you don't read into it, like, you don't really know what to expect, and I'm sure you're finding it's getting more crazy as you play, which is cool. And I think ending 2 really shit starts to get real. I think, if my memory, I don't want to say anything obviously for spoilers, but I think the game starts getting very out there from ending 2 onwards. So I look forward to that review, Craig. Maybe we'll do a spoiler cast at some point, right? Because Chris has 100% completed that game. So,
so you just need to play that game. You need to bite the bullet and just play it.
Yeah,
I have it installed on my PS4, my PS5, so I will get there and I will play it at some point because I have it
installed on my Series X. So.
Nice. Xbox Series X. So without further ado, we've got a loose topic this week, gang, because obviously I fucked it last week. So, first we'll have a quick talk about Square Enix. Obviously, they showed more Outriders. We've already talked a bit about Avengers. I think me and Chris said last week that we're both very pleased with what's coming and what we've played so far, and would recommend it. The big games really where they showed Outriders, and it was very much a Life is Strange show. Really, it was built around Life is Strange, wasn't it? Let's be honest. And a little bit of Forspoken at the end, but there's still not a lot.
I've got in front of me because I was organised when I knew it was. I have lists.
Oh, of course you do.
And from the Square thing, there was 4 things that interested me. One was Avengers, which talked about Outriders, which is coming to Game Pass day 1.
Mm-hmm.
So it's one of the ones I didn't really have much interest in from the demo. I thought if it's cheap at some point or something, or you guys were both getting it, or something like that. That was the only thing. But it's coming to Game Pass, so that's pretty good. Life is Strange was one of the things that interested me because I like the series. Again, last week was the price point because it's now a full single game, not episodic, at 50-60 quid, proper retail sort of thing. And they're doing a remaster of Before the Storm and Life is Strange. Is going back mocap and stuff like that. So that does interest me. And then Forspoken, which looks good from what we've seen. The story's written by Gary Whitta. That's about all really know on that, but that was it from the Square. That thing that interested me.
Yeah, and I think from we were quite positive about that show. We talked about it last week because as I think we said then, it's nice for Square to not be so focused on its Japanese offerings, because obviously that's what it's known for. It's always got Final Fantasy in the back pocket, where you can just drag it out from the grave and throw it out there. But it was cool. I think Life is Strange, True Colors looks quite interesting for a Life is Strange game. I haven't played them, as we said last week, so maybe I'll get to them eventually. But the price point, I kind of think in the current climate, it's not that bad. I think it's not. I mean, you think it's £20 cheaper than Returnal, £20 cheaper than Ratchet and Clank on PlayStation. I don't think it's going to be that much shorter than Ratchet and Clank. Really, I don't think Ratchet and Clank is a traditionally long game.
Life is Strange games, apart from Before the Storm, because that was a bit short, because that was only 3 episodes. But the first and the second one are good, 12, 14 hours long, because each episode is hour and a half, 2 hours roughly. So you are getting if the new one's that sort of thing, so you're getting a robust single player game.
Yeah, and I think as we said last week, I think that's the test now. It's the test. If it does well at that price, then they know they've got a franchise. I know they've put games out before, and that might sound silly, but I think having a full non-episodic game, not tied to Game Pass or anything like that, because I think 2 was tied to Game Pass originally for a bit, and obviously now Tell Me Why is on there as well. So, is there any Life is Strange interest from you, Craig? I know you've played the first one, right? I think.
Yeah, I've just played the first one. It's interesting they're doing something different. I'm not as optimistic as you are. I don't think it's gonna. I think £50 is gonna kill that game, unless it comes out and is groundbreakingly good. I do not see people rushing out to pay £50 for that game. Chris Pengelly will, but there's a lot of non-Chris Pengellies to outweigh the Chris Pengellies of the world. So yeah, I would worry for that game at that price. But yeah, I mean, if it eventually comes to Game Pass, I'd probably pick it up and play it. But that's it. I definitely wouldn't pay £50 for it.
And obviously, Chris has pre-ordered it already, so we don't have to ask him.
No, I have not pre-ordered it. No.
But yeah, so that was Life is Strange. It's an interesting side franchise, isn't it? Really, I think Outriders coming to Game Pass will probably have a first impressions show either next week or the week after. I'm definitely going to play that game because it's on Game Pass. I'm sure I can drag Craig along for the ride as well, pun intended, and maybe even Pengy can come down from his tower, just descend from the tower that is the Switch and play some Outriders. So that'd be fun. And Forspoken looks cool. It's PlayStation exclusive, so obviously only I can play it. So it will be interesting to see what I think. Because obviously Chris is never buying a PlayStation. He said that out loud many times.
I did not say that.
But yeah, it's it looks kind of fun, and that was really Square, and it was a good little show, which is cool. And then we had what was next? It was the Future show next, Chris.
Yeah.
Well, I watched none of this, so this is all on Chris to read out what you saw.
Nothing of it either.
Yeah, this was 10 o'clock Thursday night. It was hosted by. There was a pre-show hosted by the woman that plays Claire Redfield, and the main show was hosted by the woman that plays Jill Valentine and the chap that plays Carlos in Resident Evil 3 Remake. They were the hosts. That it was a weird show. It went on for hour and a half, 2 hours in the end, and it was trailer after trailer. There wasn't any sort of big game, because they're one more thing at the end was Kena versus Spirits, and that's your one more thing, that game we know about. It looks good again. They had a 5-minute trailer, and it does look very good. But that was the one more thing, which is a bit sort of disappointing. From what I liked from it, we had a game called Arctic Awakening, which looks like an Arctic Firewatch, but it is episodic, not a single game. That looked quite interesting. You're in a plane crash, and you got this AI robot helping you and stuff like that. That looked good. Saw more Returnal, which again looks good. Saw some Chris Tales, which I didn't know if this was the first time it's been confirmed or it was already confirmed, but it is coming to Game Pass as well, Chris Tales.
I think that's just been confirmed because
I think they confirmed it here.
Part of the ID Xbox event, I saw that, and I had never seen it being linked with Game Pass before that.
Yeah, it was announced here. Well, it seemed to be announced here because they at the end I had everything it's coming to, and Xbox Game Pass was one of the things. That looks good, and now obviously it's coming to Game Pass, so that's pretty exciting. We showed a game called Off-Bird and Cage, which is like heavy metal Beauty and the Beast. So you're playing like a heavy metal like album and things, and it how you progress looks like it's done by the beats of the song and stuff and that, but it's like Beauty and the Beast sort of thing. Looked interesting. It's another one that looks like, if it comes to Game Pass, I think a lot of people would maybe try it because it looks, like I said, a weird concept, but maybe not if it doesn't. Then we've seen some Back for Blood, which has been delayed, but there is an open beta coming, I believe, in April or June. I wasn't interested in this game, really. Not, but this trailer they showed here, the gameplay they showed, like first 10 minutes or something of one of like the 4 campaigns or something they got in the game. It did look actually really good. We do have a lot of games like this coming though. Like you talk about Vermintide, you got is it Dirt Tide or something?
Dark Tide, yeah.
Yeah, it's coming. So there is a few games like that coming. This actually look really good. So I'll try the open beta and go from there. Oddworld was shown again. The physical version was announced. If you want that, but it's coming to Plus in April. This is the first time it actually looked good as well. So I've not been an Oddworld fan, but they changed the camera perspective at some point, and now it looked actually quite interesting. Again, it's on Plus. I'll add it to my library, so when I do get a PS5, it will be there. And the only other thing of interest to me, because I have it on my fantasy thing, that also again was delayed, was Humankind. Be delayed to August from April. That looks good. It's like a Civ Revolution sort of game. That looked good, but that was what interested me. There was like 40 games shown, and there's like 8 or 9, I think it was, that looked things. Like some of them like indie, if that makes any sense. But yeah, there was some good stuff.
Mobile games.
Yeah, all like on Steam, green light. Obviously, for someone like Future, I guess, what they're gonna get to show. And they did have like free PS4, like PlayStation games, like Returnal and stuff there, and like Back 4 Blood. So they did have some big games show. Again, the like disappointing thing was the One More Thing was a game that's already been out. Lord of the Rings Gollum was like the one more thing in the pre-show, and that didn't look that good, really. But I think that's like,
never has.
No, they never. The non-movie games, bar Shadow of Mordor, never look good.
Yeah, so that was the Future game show. So
nice.
Yeah,
Well,
wasn't bad.
This is going to be a very Chris Pengelly episode, just to let everyone know, because obviously me and Craig have not watched the Future. I didn't even know they were doing a show. I didn't know what it was. I thought it was. I completely didn't make the correlation that Future is the publisher, because it just didn't. I didn't think about it. But Back 4 Blood looks pretty fun. That's in my fantasy draft, Chris. Obviously.
Yeah.
Your boy knows, and obviously so is Oddworld Soulstorm, which we will get on Thursday this week, which is annoying. It's the same day as Outriders. So.
I was going to say, you'll be able to give us some first impressions.
Yeah, I might give it a go. I haven't played the Oddworld. I haven't played New and Tasty. I haven't played them since was it Munch's Odyssey? No, I might have played them. I might have played Oddworld's. I played Oddworld's Wrath on Stranger's Wrath. There we go. On original Xbox, which is a great game. Very weird series, obviously, but cool. Obviously, Craig. Anything that do anything for you?
No, I'm sure I didn't watch any of it because, like, again, I didn't even know it was on or where it was or anything like that. I think Back 4 Blood has looked good, but it does just look like Left 4 Dead for me.
It's because that's what it is.
Yeah, I know, but I do worry that, like, however many years later, people are just like, oh, it's just Left 4 Dead. You know, those games were fun at the time, but is it going to carry, are people going to want to invest money in that when there are seemingly a lot of other options for that sort of thing that are coming to Game Pass or possibly even cheaper? So I don't know. Yeah. I can't see me buying it because I think it, like that. I think it just looks like Left 4 Dead. It just seems to be what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how it does. I want it to do well purely for my fantasy critic. I mean, I won't buy it because obviously I'm not spending 60 quid on a zombie game, boys, as you know. But yeah, it'd be interesting. But I think Kena Bridge of Spirits still looks cool. I look forward to playing that. It's already been delayed once, so I hope it doesn't get delayed again. Yeah. So which leaves us into the last bit of Chris Pengelly themed content this week, which is the Xbox
Okay.
ID
Xbox
showcase.
Yeah, so we had the indie showcase on Twitch, but people were showing it on like YouTube and stuff like that, sort of thing. It was 4.5 hours long. They showed 60 plus games, some of Justin's rules, and they had some interviews and stuff like that. They announced 20 of the 60 games are Game Pass games, or will be coming to the Game Pass at some point. So a lot of games to come for that. A few things got announced sort of around it and stuff like that. Because again, I have a list of things that interested me. I'm not going to list all 60 games.
Please don't.
Would be here. Yeah, so there's sort of like 18 or so games from it that I had some interested in. First one, I got it in alphabetical order, so it's pretty easy. 12 minutes.
Yeah, they've shown the game a lot, and it's one of those that has quite a good voice cast in it, and it's got good studio behind it. But they've shown it so many times now. I'm just like, cool, let's just put it out. Let's see what people think of it. I think it's been shown for like 7 years.
I think that's going to be a common reoccurrence of this list, Dave, because we've seen this so many times. I'm looking forward to it. I've got it on my fantasy. They still didn't do a date for this, I don't think.
No, they put up an Xbox Wire article with an interview, and it was like, it's coming very soon. Doesn't seem to be coming to Game Pass from what I can find, so I don't know how much it'd be, but it does one that interests me. So, maybe
just give us a date. If it's coming very soon, just give us a date. God damn it.
Yeah. It was supposed to come December originally and got delayed, so I thought we might have seen it by now. I thought maybe even before March 31st, so it gets into this fiscal year for like Annapurna or something, but who knows. Next one that interested me was Art of Rally. This is coming to Game Pass.
I'm very excited for this.
This looks very good. Because I sort of had it on my Epic Store wish list and that, but it's like, do I want to play it on PC? Blah 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 blah. Yeah, but it is coming to Game Pass. It looks very very good. I love the art style, the low poly style of it. It's very nice.
Yeah, and it's a kind of like weird like isometric rally game from what I can tell, and it looks fun as hell. It looks like what's the one that we played on Game Pass, Craig? That's like a Sega Saturn game. Sure. That's the one. It's it gives me that kind of vibe where it's like it's a harkening back to the past with like a simple modern art style, and Art of Rally is legit a game I want to play. Might even stream it. Might even see if that'll work for me. But yeah, we'll definitely. That's a game that you say it's coming to Game Pass, Chris.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a day one play for your boy.
Yeah, sure.
I was really surprised with this because I thought it looked good and there seemed to be a little bit of hype around it. And then True Achievements did a poll afterwards of like what's everyone's most anticipated Game Pass game from this event. And this was second. And I was like, that really surprised me that this was like that.
It reviewed very well, I remember, on PC as well.
Yeah.
So I got that. Next one is The Ascent. This one is Series X optimized. It's going to be 4K 60 frames on Series X, and it is also coming to Game Pass, which is like a top-down cyberpunk shooting RPG thing. Which
very heavily co-op game, isn't it? This is another one of those games we've seen this so many times. This looks good. I'm excited. I want it. I want it on Game Pass. I want to play it. But we still don't know when it's coming out.
Nope.
2021 in a nutshell, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
Then we had a new game announced called Asher Ascending, which is from some Final Fantasy veterans. One worked on the remake, for instance. It is a 2D side-scrolling RPG. It reminds me a bit of Odin Sphere and stuff like that, with the art style, a bit of Child of Light, that sort of thing. The art style. It is coming to Game Pass as well. It's announced for all systems, but this is coming to Game Pass. It's pretty good from what I've seen. 2D JRPGs is not like a thing I've played too much of, but it does look pretty good from what was shown.
It's a Dave game. That's all you need to know. It's a Dave game, so that's one I will definitely pick up at some point.
I was going to say, like, do you like Odin Sphere, but do you want it turn-based? If the answer is yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things, right? So there's a game that's not on this list that I've been following called Fantasian, and that's also ex Final Fantasy devs, and it's like just keep putting
That
these
is
games.
the Final Fantasy.
That is Uematsu and Sakaguchi. So like, just put this stuff in my veins on Xbox on Game Pass, please, forever.
Yeah.
But yeah, it looks fun. It looks really good.
Next one on the list. This one isn't in Game Pass. And it's the Big Con, which is very 90s. It just makes me feel old when the 90s is like retro going back in time.
Chris, the early thousands are retro now. Just to let you know, the early thousands are retro.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, we're gonna do like like when I think things in the past, I think 80s style, not 90s, but it's early 90s, and the idea of the game sort of gives it away with the Big Con, and it's you got to do like con things. I don't know. It's like from the trailer.
I hope they put that on the box.
Chris Pengelly, you gotta do con things.
Yeah.
It's got a really cool art style, hasn't it? It's just, we haven't really seen what you're going to be doing. I don't think a great deal.
It looks very narrative driven, and the trailer is showing to give you like different options, like something like you had to steal, I don't know, money from the shop, and it showed you like different options how you can get to it and stuff like that. So interesting. Next one on my list is Demon Turf, not in Game Pass. Playtonic are the publisher of this, but not the developer. The game is 3D, and it's a 3D platform, but your character is 2D. Sort of thing, like Paper Mario style. So your character's like Paper Mario, but obviously in this 3D world. It's an interesting platformer. It looks more like a Dave game than from all of us, but again, it's not in Game Pass, so I don't know what price point and stuff be on it, but yeah.
Again, I haven't seen anything about this, so I have no comment. But if it's a Dave Ask Dave game, then it will get a Dave Ask Dave seal.
Do you like 3D platformers, Dave?
I do.
Yes. Do you like Paper Mario?
I do.
And there you go.
It's all for me. Craig, obviously, these are all things that Craig likes.
It's a bit horror-y. It looks like a vampire. No, but not horror. It's like vampires and that. From what I get,
you're losing me. You're losing me.
And demons. I think.
Is this the one that was first announced on the PlayStation event like a year ago?
Possibly.
Very purple, like.
Yeah,
I know.
Like
this does look good.
Very purple.
Yeah, you'll see if you see the trailer for this, Dave. You'll know what I mean. Like everything in this game seems to be like purple.
Okay. Next one, going back for Blood, another similar game was Dungeons and Dragons: Dark Alliance, not on Game Pass, and obviously this is counted as
has got a physical release. I have seen it's £35.
Yeah, so it looks good. It looks good if you want like a third party fantasy version of Back for Blood. It looked good from what I've seen of the trailer, but there's again other games like it coming out.
Yeah, and plus Vermintide is really the best version of that right now, and it's already on Game Pass. So it'd be interesting to see how. I mean, the D&D license will do well.
First party is, and then it's just third person, so it's a little bit different. It's actually D&D are making it themselves. So they have their own game studio now. So
interesting.
And then we got Edge of Eternity, which is a JRPG, which I backed on Kickstarter, so I may be in the credits of this. I can't remember if that was one of the things or not. It's sort of like Final Fantasy 15 style.
It looks like Xenoblade in combat style.
Yeah,
it kind of looks Xenoblade-y.
This one is coming to Game Pass, so.
Okay, I wasn't going to buy it, but I'll try it on Game Pass for sure, because it looked lower budget, which obviously it clearly is. It's always going to look lower budget than Final Fantasy and Xenoblade, but it looked. I like JRPGs, right? And it's always good to play those type of games on Xbox now.
Yeah, I think it's the studio Midgar. I think they're based in China, but I'm not 100% sure on that.
I thought this was a French game.
No, I don't think they are. I think.
Oh, okay. Maybe I'm getting confused with something else.
I might be wrong.
Oui, Le Craig.
Yeah. Then we've seen some more of Lake, which are not in Game Pass, but I'm interested in this one, where you're this woman that's had enough of the big city, and you move to a little town, and you got to go deliver post.
This is another Pengle's game. That's what that is.
It's a very walking simulator sort of game. It looks
Yeah,
like.
you go around, do all the different houses, driving your truck, delivering posts and stuff from the video. But
It's like Death
it looks
Stranding,
good.
but not as pretentious.
Oh, I don't know. It could be. It could be pretentious. We don't know yet.
It does look pretentious.
Then we got some more footage of The Last Stop. This had a proper 15 minutes gameplay thing. I think it might have been an interview of this one. Not in Game Pass from what I get. It's just from the team that did Virginia. I think that was the last game. This thing looks quite good. It's set in London, I believe, and you play as 3 different characters, and their story intertwined, and people are switching bodies and stuff like that. So that looked pretty interesting. Any interest?
Was this the Annapurna one?
I think Annapurna is the publisher. It is an Xbox. It's timed exclusive from Annapurna, but it doesn't look like it's in Game Pass. So, but yeah, looks interesting.
It's a very narrative-driven kind of. Again, there's a lot of that in this and there, but
like I said, you've played Virginia, or you know what that is. It looks similar to that. The character models are slightly different. I think Virginia, they didn't have faces or anything. Well, they have.
It looks like they've actually have some budget this time.
Yeah, so
definitely not a Dave game from what I can see.
No. Then we got Lost Idions or Eidolons or something like that, which looks like it plays like Fire Emblem, but with realistic graphics. Obviously, it's fantasy, but what the characters look like. Can sort of see more anime style in Fire Emblem. So yeah, this looks good if you like that sort of game. And again, it's on Xbox, which Fire Emblem isn't. So from that sort of thing on Xbox, not in Game Pass, I don't believe. So, look interesting enough. One that might slight Dave here. Nobody Saves the World,
it's my game of the show,
which is from Drinkbox. I didn't really like the look of it, but I put it on this list because I knew you would, and it's from Drinkbox, who make good games. So
so it's like a top-down dungeon crawler, but the main mechanic is that your character starts as nobody, has nothing, no one, but he can become different forms. So instead of having a job system, it's it has a job system, I suppose, is what I mean. But instead of having skill trees, it has job trees. So you start as a rat, and you can do so much damage as the rat. And you can do certain things, and then you can become a magician, and you can pull rabbits out your hat, and they can fight for you, and all this kind of stuff. And you can be a ranger, and you have to kind of use them. You can't just be one and just trounce the game. You kind of have to different enemies require different things. Different puzzles require different things. So it looks cool. It looks like it's procedurally generated dungeons, I think. From what the coverage I've seen of it, obviously it's Drinkbox, who are one of my favourite devs ever. Guacamelee 1 and 2 are fantastic. Severed is fantastic. Mutant Blobs Attack is fantastic. So I have absolutely no doubt that this will be fantastic. I think it's an Xbox exclusive at the moment, Xbox and
it's Game Pass day one.
I don't think it was on the Game Pass list.
Yeah,
was it?
Yeah, this is Game Pass day
one.
one.
It's definitely not coming to PlayStation or Switch.
I think I thought I'd seen it on coming to Switch, but
maybe it's just not PlayStation.
I'm pretty sure I didn't see it on the list that what do you call it? True Achievements had down, but maybe I just missed that one. Next one was Sable, which is coming to Game Pass, definitely.
I sort of know the person that made that game. Interesting enough, but that game, they've been showing it for years.
Yeah.
For literal years, and it looks amazing.
And it's been confirmed for Game Pass for years as well.
Yeah, it's a one-person dev, right? I'm pretty sure.
Mm-hmm.
But that game is one of those games that's going to come out and be a critical darling. But I can't, unless it's on Game Pass, I can't see it really moving too much of a needle. Very Journey-ish, right? So
yeah, you have got your hover bike thing. Go around the world. Next one was an indie in the showcase, but they dropped a trailer afterwards, and they confirmed it's coming to Game Pass, but it's actually in game preview, and that's Second Extinction, which is going back to the Back for Blood and Dark Alliance, Dark Tide thing. This is the same.
They've shown this
premise
before as well, haven't they?
But you're playing,
they've shown this loads of times.
Yeah. But you're fighting dinosaurs. It's coming
April, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is it late April?
Yeah.
It actually looks quite fun because it's basically it looks like Left 4 Dead but with dinosaurs, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
This is the one that Snowbite likes once, right? This is what I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. And it's co-op and it's on Game Pass, so
we'll play it.
I can see this. Yeah, I can definitely see me giving this a go.
Just obviously being in early access, obviously it's your game preview on Xbox. How much content is there at the start? Is it just the one map or something? So we see, but it's going straight into Game Pass, even on game preview. So
That's cool.
people can again see if that's a thing. Next one on my list was She Dreams Elsewhere, which obviously looks very Undertale. I get very Undertale.
They've shown this
from
1,000 times as well.
Yeah, this is also coming to Game Pass as well. I sort of like Undertale. I don't think it was as good as people made out it was, but it is still a good game. Undertale is actually on Game Pass as well now, and straight to
It's
Game
an
Pass.
easy
from
1000G,
Xbox.
boys and girls.
Yeah, but She Dreams Elsewhere looks again looks pretty good. From what I've seen, don't know. It might be your thing, Craig. You might give it a bash. See how you get on with Undertale. If you like that,
Yeah, I've got Undertale installed, so I definitely want to play that at some point. I don't know if it was this on the straight to Game Pass list or not.
Yes.
If it's not, then okay. I'll definitely give it a go. Anything that comes to Game Pass, I'll probably give it a go.
Yeah, sure.
You are Mr.
Next
Game
one,
Pass.
Yeah.
Maybe the biggest in terms of publisher. Getting obviously we had Dark Alliance, which is from Dungeons and Dragons itself. Stalker 2 was shown, coming straight to Game Pass. It is next gen only, so if you only got an Xbox One, you will be missing out on this one. But yeah, Stalker 2 was sort of shown. They basically like, here's a gun. Look at the detail in the gun. That was basically the.
It's a really weird way of like showing this game, because the other times we've seen like quite sparse trailers where we've not really seen much. This was like we saw even less. It's just like, oh, here's some character models and some weapons.
Yeah.
That tells me
I don't think this game's coming.
Yeah, that tells me it's a while
soon.
away if that's all they're showing.
Yeah, it's definitely not this year. It might be next year, like from what we've seen. But this was so on that True Achievements poll I mentioned earlier. Like, the rally game was second. This was miles ahead. This was like had more than most everything else like combined. So people are looking forward to this.
I think also obviously it's an indie event, but this was like the most triple A, out of all of them. So I can see why it would be winning the poll about.
It is a big get really for Xbox to get a game like that on Game Pass as well, which is pretty impressive.
Then we had Way to the Woods on Game Pass and the Wild Heart Game Pass. I can't remember which one's which of these. One of them's up.
Way to the Woods, the Bambi game, isn't it?
Yes, that's the one where you play as they had similar names. Yeah, it's the one with the deer. Again, it's coming straight to Game Pass.
A deer, a female deer. Oh, sorry, Carol.
We've seen this quite a while ago, like an E3 or something like that.
Yeah.
This clip that we had was like 10 seconds, so no more information apart from it was in the Game Pass as real, so it's coming to Game Pass. That's like the only thing. And Wild the Heart one is up for pre-order if you want to actually buy it, but it is coming to Game Pass. This one is like top down. Art style's a bit Don't Starve sort of thing, but a bit more coloured.
Looks very hand drawn and that sort of thing.
And you've got like little characters helping you, which kind of look like remind me a bit of Pikmin or the ones in Ni no Kuni 2 that helped you. Like little characters to help you in.
I cannot remember off the top of my head.
But yeah, it reminds me of that. But yeah, that was like the 18 games that looked.
That was May as well, wasn't it? That was. I think it was May 18th, something like that.
Yeah, so that
actually looked really good. That looked like something that I would definitely give a go.
Yeah, so not a lot got dated. Like I said, they showed 60 games. The only one with a real date was Second Extinction, the Wild Heart one, and like I said, 20 of the 60 Game Pass. Nobody's said, well, I obviously saying it on Game Pass.
It is Game Pass, I checked.
Yeah, so cool. Just missed that one going through True Achievements list of which ones were and were not Game Pass. That's the thing when they show so many games, trying to figure out what isn't. So yeah, it's an interesting show, but I reckon they put out some sizzle reels and that this show was like 4.5 hours long. It could have been 20 minutes. Yeah, instead of done like a bunch of scissor reels and a little bit more in-depth look at some like the bigger games. Yeah, there's plenty to play coming to Game Pass. So
yeah,
I think that was the problem with this. It was just so long, wasn't
It's
it?
a
I don't
weird
think,
way to show it,
I,
to be fair.
yeah, like I didn't like I missed the Game Pass. I saw how long this was and was like, "There's no way I'm watching this." I watched a few of the trailers that kind of got cut up and put onto Xbox's YouTube page or whatever, and I was like, "I'm not sitting down and watching like 4 hours of interviews and kind of games."
It
Um,
felt very Nintendo Treehouse, but like without the Nintendo charm.
Well, I think
yeah,
it is what they said it was gonna be. I think that's always the problem with. I seem to think that Xbox gets the most kickings for stuff like this, and they said this is what it was gonna be. It was gonna be a live stream where they talked about indie games, and it was a live stream where they talked about indie games.
Yeah.
They just need to make sure that afterwards there's a nice 10-minute short video, probably like a Major Nelson video, maybe the highlighting stuff. That's what I would do personally.
Yeah,
Even just
because
the
the
Game Pass
scissor
stuff.
reels, the scissor reels are like a minute half each. So like the Game Pass one, like you blink and you've missed a game or something because of how short it is. They could do like you said, like a 10-minute version or something of everything.
they included a
Show,
load of old games on
They
those
did,
scissor
yeah,
reels as
like
well.
Celeste
They
Celeste.
and
put like
stuff.
Celeste and
Is
stuff like
that
that. And I
new
was
to
like,
Game
why
Pass
are
though?
they?
Because it's not.
No,
No,
it's been on there for
no.
Is it? Because obviously
ages.
I got it
Yeah.
from Gold, so I haven't looked if it's on Game Pass or anything.
No, it's been Game
Yeah.
Pass.
Okay. I suppose it's one of those that this is like, if you're into indies, this is what we have to offer on Game Pass, maybe. And I don't know, it is a
Yeah,
strange way to throw it.
like the end of the trailer was like find your discover your favorite indie or something like that. Get Game Pass for a month for $1. So they're gonna show like you can get Celeste, this 90+ critical darling in our service. So I guess that's why that was in there, for instance, not just new games.
And
So I think
suppose
even
for us,
Undertale
it's
was in it.
I think
yeah,
Hollow Knight was as well.
yeah,
Mm.
which are all like the best games for indie games on
Yeah,
there, you know?
basically, these are the best indie games out there. You can get them in our servers. You're not with us, you can get it for $1 for the first month, or £1 or whatever.
But yeah, it's one of those things. I think Xbox have done a really good job of showcasing indies in the past. I don't think it's their best version of it, but they obviously clearly had quite a lot to show, which is probably the issue. I hope this means that the next showcase thing they have is their big stuff, because I think they've shown a willingness to show off Japanese games recently, now indie games. I think the last step is showing off some of their own. I hate saying AAA first party games, but that's what I mean. I don't think we'll see anything for till summer still, but it'd be nice to see that soon. Yeah, I mean, it's just another one. It's another problem we've got. It's a constant of games we got to play. Like, it's such a first world problem, but there was at least 3 or 4 games there that you talked about that interested me that I wouldn't have paid for, but because they're on Game Pass, I'll certainly play. So No One Saves the World is the one I want the most. So
yeah, well, obviously that was only a list of 18 of the 60. Let's say 9 of the 18 were Game Pass. The actual list was 20. That was on like True Achievements with kind of Game Pass. Then you go back to like January, Xbox Wire put out that, was it like 30+ games coming to Xbox this year? A lot of them were Game Pass titles like a Psychonauts and stuff like that. So you've add them into the mix of these 20 games that just been announced, as where you got like quite a lot of games, like maybe one a week or sort of thing. Of again, quality could differ because obviously indies and stuff like that. Going back to the Future one, where some look like mobile games, things, the quality differ, but there is good stuff like in there. So
yeah, and I decided to do a very interesting thing this week because I wanted to talk about it. We need to do more research before we talk about it. So I decided to actually have a look at PlayStation Now and see like what's on offer, what you can buy, what you can download, and it's not even close. And that is an interesting thing because I didn't think it would be, but I was like, oh, maybe it's my Xbox bias, and I went and I looked, and PS Now doesn't offer anything close to Game Pass. So it's the fact that Game Pass is still growing and growing and growing.
Say that. I know they don't offer new stuff, but like,
well, no, even the thing is, even the stuff that there's on there,
Fallout 4 and stuff on there, for instance, which people got excited about when it got announced for Game Pass.
The difference is, Chris, is that right. If you're sitting here, I'm a PlayStation 5 owner, right? So I'm a PlayStation 5 owner. They've already given me Fallout 4 with PS Plus collection. Yeah. They've already given me Horizon Zero Dawn with Play at Home. So it's not. The problem is with it is like, so why would I get that subscription? Because the games that are on there, I either have, like, I'm not even joking. Like the stuff that I would say 60%, maybe 70% of stuff that interested me, they've either given me from Plus or they've given me from Plus Collection, which is not a bad thing. It's great, but it's like, right, so why am I getting this service? And it was like a simple thing, like there was older versions of newer games. So like, for example, NBA 2K18 is on PS Now. On Game Pass, it's NBA 21. It's like I think Dirt Rally 1 and Dirt 4 were on PS Now, where you can get Dirt Rally 2 and Dirt 5 on Game Pass. And that's what I mean. Like, there's still good. I think it might be like Vermintide 1 to Vermintide 2. It's like that kind of thing, which I think is really strange. And I genuinely think that there's games that they own that should be on there. So like, Everybody's Golf is not on there for like the PS4 version, for example. I don't think Wipeout is on there. Stuff like that should be on there. Like, I get Last of Us Part 2 not being on there and stuff like that, but like the games from like launch of the console should be on. Like Knack 2 isn't on there. Knack 1 is, but Knack 2 is not on there, and they've given Knack 1 away. So and the weirdest thing is the pricing. So the most value way to get PS Now is to buy it for a year, which is £50, which is £4 a month. The only other ways to do it is monthly, which is £9 a month, which is not worth at all, and 3 monthly, which is 23, which is like a small saving, but it's still poor in my opinion. So I think PS Now is something they need to focus on more, and it doesn't have to be Game Pass. It doesn't have to be offer like day and date games like Game Pass does. It really doesn't. But for me, like, there needs to be a way to make that service worth playing, because I tried the streaming, because it was a trial. Streaming was very poor. I've got a good internet connection here. I've had no problem with Stadia, and I've had no problem with xCloud. It wasn't great for PS3 games, which are really the reason I would play it, because you can't download them. But yeah, I think if you're only a PlayStation player, PS Plus and PS Now, if you pay for a year, is probably worth it, because there's enough on there for a new player.
There like 400 games or something on there, I believe. Like
it is,
PS4
but there's a lot of them are like. A lot of them are like a lot worse than, like, you know, when everyone goes, oh, Game Pass is just crap indie games. There's a lot of stuff that's worse on in PS Now, and I'm not saying it's like, I know everyone's gonna be like, oh, Data fanboy, he's an Xbox fanboy. I'm really not. I have everything. Like, I play everything probably more than most. So it's just one of those things. Like, I genuinely went on there because I'm at a point at the moment where I need to save money. So I was like, right, if PS Now's worth it, I don't mind dropping £50 for the year and having a year's worth of games on there. But I looked and where was my value coming from?
Last time I used it, I used I think it was a 14-day trial, and I downloaded Spider-Man, but that was only on there for like, I think it was like 3 months or something like that, and played the Escape from the City, or whatever the DLC was called with, Help Black Cat.
City That Never Sleeps.
City That Never Sleeps. So I played the DLC of that. That's how I played it. And I remember there was a whole hoo-ha when like Red Dead left Game Pass, PS Now, and then went into Game Pass and stuff like that. I think mostly like if you're new to PlayStation, but then I don't know what the first party is on there. I presume Uncharted 4's left since it was on there.
I think
last.
Possibly, but again, if you've got a PS Plus account and you combine it with the PS Plus collection, it's not so bad. But like, so like, I would say the best stuff on there is probably the Bethesda stuff. It's got quite a lot of Bethesda stuff on there, and you would think that's going to leave there at some point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, maybe within the year. It's like, so ironically, the game on there that I was actually most tempted to play was WWE Battlegrounds, because I'm not paying for WWE Battlegrounds, but if it's on there, but it's like, right, it looks like it's only going to be on there to the end of next month maybe, and I think they had 2K19 on there. But it's just one of those. It's a very curious service, because it just doesn't seem to be.
Like, I remember
like
they added recently Control, but then that was added to Plus. Obviously, it was only the PS5 version that was added to Plus. So if you're on a PS4 and wanted to play it,
I'll pull it up right now. I'll have a look.
It would be an easy option.
So I guess the measuring stick for this is, so Dave, you're obviously a PS5 owner.
I am.
Are you subscribed to this?
No.
No.
And
Chris Pengelly, you are a future PS5 owner. Will you be subscribing to this?
No.
No. We're all Xbox owners, and we're all Game Pass subscribers, and we're all fairly adamant Game Pass subscribers. So I think that is the clear-cut, definitive, like, it's clearly nowhere near, because, you know, you two are, you know, pretty big Sony guys, and one of you's not subscribed and could be, and one of you won't be subscribed when you will have the PlayStation.
So
So I think that's the measuring stick, isn't it? Like it's clearly nowhere near if you guys aren't even bothering to subscribe.
So it has. I've got in front of me now. So on there it has the must see PS Now games, right? So we'll wrap these off. Call of Duty Black Ops 3, good game. It's on the PS Plus collection. Super Hot, good game. I think is it still on Game Pass?
Possibly. I don't know.
The Crew 2. It's a game I've been tempted by. F1 2020. Pretty sure one of these is on Game Pass. Might be 19.
It's 19.
And 20 is on Stadia Pro.
Yeah.
Ace Combat 7. It's on Game Pass. WWE 2K Battlegrounds. It's like I say, that's the game that interests me most. Stranded Deep. Little Nightmares, which was on Game Pass. Detroit Become Human. PS Plus game. World War Z, which is on Game Pass. Horizon Zero Dawn Complete Edition. Fantastic game. We'll never argue about that. They are giving it to everyone. They're giving it to everyone. Not even PS Plus. They're giving it to everyone for free, which is great, but still. Wreckfest is on there. WWE 2K19. Hello Neighbor 1 and Farming Simulator 19. That is the must-play games, according to Sony, on its service.
Yeah, see, there's some good games in there, and some of them are on Game Pass.
Would you play them? I don't think none of them were like, oh yeah, I really want to play that.
Yeah,
that's the thing. But obviously,
you need to be enticed, don't you? That's the thing.
Yeah, and a lot of them, like going back to me, like Life is Strange, for instance. I'm going to mostly buy that day one. Like I said, if you're mostly on a budget, new to PlayStation or something, there is good games in there.
Oh yeah.
The problem, like me not subscribing, the difference between it and Game Pass offers new games right away. Well, this is good games, and we do see old games come to Game Pass as well, like the Bethesda games, for instance. But you do get the new games mixed in. Well, this is just old games.
Yeah.
Sony's new game, like going back to like the indies, is PlayStation Plus. That's where you're seeing Oddworld. That's where you're seeing thing. I think that's the difference. So Plus is better in Gold. Game Pass is better in Now.
I think the problem is the only value you get from this is if you pay for a year. I think if it was £5 a month normally, I don't think it's actually that bad, because like I said, if we're very privileged, we have everything. You know what I mean? Battlegrounds
and cancel their
jobs. Yeah, exactly. And you've got stuff like Little Big Planet 3, and a lot of the annoying thing for me is a lot of the stuff that would tempt me as someone who has a lot of games is the PS3 stuff, which is all streaming. So like Sonic Generations, Puppeteer, the old version of Everybody's Golf, which annoys me. Why can't they just put the new version of Everybody's Golf on? But yeah, it was curious to me, because I was thinking to myself, actually, genuinely, like, I kind of wouldn't be opposed to getting PS Now as a way of like, right, I haven't got to buy games for I can't really buy games for the next sort of 9 months. Really, I've got financial things I need to sort out. So I was like, right, let's see what options there are. And I think you're right, Chris. I think we're very privileged as well that we've had all the consoles and we've played all the games. If I was completely new to PlayStation, I still don't think it's a must thing. I think PS Plus collection is a must thing.
Probably if you just bought a PS5, you're going to start with the 20 games that's in PS4. Then the collection, you're going to go, God, everyone says this God of War's amazing. I'm going to play that first, then play WWE Battlegrounds.
And just to be fair, I'll read out the PS Plus collection games, which are, like, if you compared this to Game Pass, if this was like part of PS Now, if these games were part of PS Now, I think you'd have a much better argument for having PS Now. You know what I mean? So you've got Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy, God of War, 2016, 2017, whatever, Mortal Kombat 10, Fallout 4, Final Fantasy 15 Royal Edition, Call of Duty Black Ops 3, Battlefield 1, Persona 5, Resident Evil 7 Biohazard, Monster Hunter World, Days Gone, Detroit Become Human, Uncharted 4, Batman Arkham Knight, Infamous Second Son, The Last Guardian, The Last of Us Remastered, Bloodborne, and Until Dawn, which is a very good selection of games.
And a few of them obviously have been updated to the PS5 as well.
Yeah, like you're arguably saying that the worst game on here is either Call of Duty, Battlefield, or The Last Guardian, right? Probably, which are all still good games. And it's cool they're giving that away to PS5, but it does one of those things. I think if you're a PS5 owner, I think life is pretty good subscription wise, but it just interests me. I don't want to throw shade, but it's one of those things I was like, so what are they doing compared to Game Pass? Because obviously everyone always talks about how PS Now is an option. I just don't see it. I mean, I've got the week trial, so I might try and try some streaming again later on just to see if it's just had a bad day or something. But I just thought I'd bring that up. Obviously, Craig is Mr. Game Pass, so we don't have to ask him about PlayStation doings because he does not care.
No.
His little face. So the last thing we were going to talk about today, boys and girls, before I eventually rename this show to the Game Pass Game Chat or something. I think that's what Craig's angling for. I just need him to make a logo and it's done because I just can't be asked.
Yeah.
Is there anything coming to Game Pass this week, next week that's on there now that you wouldn't ordinarily try that you want to try? Obviously, Craig's been doing Nier, and that's kind of what inspired this question. Is there anything on there that you're kind of that you wouldn't normally be tempted by, but you're looking at and you're thinking, I might give that a go? Chris, how about you? Because you're very much walking simulators and occasionally a JRPG. So what's on there that?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I'll give pretty much anything a go. So there's nothing stands out. Thing Outriders, like I said, it's something. If it wasn't in Game Pass, I wouldn't be playing. That's again, it's something like third-person shooter games I do play, for instance, but it's something I wouldn't have paid 50-60 quid for it if it wasn't in Game Pass. Some of the indies as well, depending on price, like the Wild at Heart one is like 21 quid pre-order. Like, if it reviewed like 9 to something, then maybe, but if it was like a 7 out of 10 sort of game or lower, I wouldn't pay 21 quid for it. But obviously being in the Game Pass, it's more that sort of thing for me than trying genres that I don't normally play.
Nice. Obviously for me, big JRPG guy, big platformer guy, so I don't really play a lot of first person stuff. I realised recently. I thought I did, but I really haven't. It's not since like the 360 that I played that game. So I'm very tempted to go back to some of the Bethesda games I've missed over the years, like stuff like Dishonored and Prey and all that kind of stuff. And as for stuff that I haven't played, it still always sort of sits and looks at me. Is obviously Octopath Traveler now. It's like, okay, I've played that before, but like I play a game with achievements. It's a 150-hour achievement, Chris.
Nice.
You ain't getting that, bitch. And obviously, I always want to try Outriders next week, because it's not a game I was going to buy, but it's worth playing because it's on Game Pass. And as for PS Plus, I suppose I am actually quite looking forward to Soulstorm, so I'll give my impressions of that next week. But Craig, is there anything?
It'd be interesting what other games are able with Plus, because the only one we know of is Oddworld.
Yeah, I don't know actually, because it's been a good last 4 months have been pretty impressive for them. I don't really know. Would we see if that's going to be the PS5 game? You would imagine it at most you might have another PS4, PS5 game. I think you could see Dirt 5, which would annoy me because obviously I've already completed it many times. Maybe I'll do it again, Craig. Maybe I'll do it again. But yeah.
Probably ban that controller even more.
Oh yeah, honestly, I swear to God, how I don't get hunted down by PlayStation fanboys on Twitter, I don't know, because I both love and hate the DualSense. It's equal measure. It's better than the DualShock, but in some games you just wish you could turn the fucking thing off. Yeah, Craigo, anything? Obviously, now you've been trying Nier, and obviously you're not gonna do anything until you've completed Nier, obviously. But is there anything like, for example, Dragon Quest or Octopath Traveler that you wouldn't normally jump into that tempts you a little bit?
Not so much that sort of stuff, but there are. Recently, they added Undertale, which I've installed and want to give that a go. Probably once I finish Nier, and then they also added, I think this was a day one, that had a game called Genesis Noir, I think it's called, or Nier.
Yeah.
Which is a very odd looking game. It's kind of a black and white, it's kind of like a jazz inspired kind of point and click puzzle adventure game, which I'd seen nothing about and didn't really care about. And then I saw that it actually reviewed really well for a game coming straight to Game Pass. So I think I've already installed that, and I'd be tempted to give that a go, just to see what that's like as part of Game Pass. But that's the sort of thing I like. Game Pass for, is these random games that just get added day one. You've never heard of them, you've never seen anything about them, and then actually they turn out to be decent little games.
Yeah, that's its great appeal, right? As much as it is for the big AAA games that we get day one, it's interesting to get these kind of games. Like I say, I'm really excited for Nobody Saves the World, because obviously it's a dev that I like playing, a type of game that I don't really play. You know what I mean? I don't like stuff like Enter the Gungeon and that I've not really jumped into, and I don't tend to get into that type of game, but I'll try it because it's on Game Pass. So that's why we talk about it so much. I know occasionally you will get a message saying, "God, you guys really suck that Microsoft dick, don't you?" And we're like, we do, and we kind of love it, but it's just one of those things. Like, until PlayStation or Nintendo offers something that's as good, especially the minute where there isn't that many game releases, really, in terms of like AAA first party games for any of them. Like, it's going to end up us talking about Game Pass every week. It really is. Like, if they keep adding games, be nice to talk about.
Especially they do such a good job on their social media of publicizing it all.
That is also the huge difference between Game Pass and PlayStation Now. Because I remember it was Red Dead Redemption 2. It's like, now it's coming for Game Pass. It was leaving for PlayStation Now, and obviously the tweets were like, "It's been in PlayStation Now for 12 months or whatever," and stuff like that. Like, I didn't even know it was in PlayStation Now, and like, I would know most things happening in PlayStation. That's like, if I don't know if it was on PlayStation Now, how's Joe Public gonna know it's on PlayStation Now? That's also the biggest problem with it, the marketing behind it, like compared to Game Pass and stuff like that. How they do, like, even like the hints of like Melissa Matt Game Pass with she's like called the fake emails.
They play it well, don't they, on Twitter especially? They really do.
Actual thing, talking about services, Nintendo's actually the worst out of all of them.
It is, but it's also by far the cheapest.
It's only 20 quid a year.
It's not even that. It's £18 to play online on Switch, and you get old games for free. Like, you get NES and SNES games. There's enough. So, like, for Craig, for example, Mr. Not Nintendo, if he got Switch Online, there's probably enough in that Super Nintendo section if he wanted to play a Mario game, you know what I mean, or Zelda or something. Like, there's enough value there, I think, for £18. But yeah, when you think
they're so far doing their own thing as well, it's hard to compare, isn't it?
Yeah, they are a different planet, and that works for them, and I'm glad for it, because I don't want them to be trying to make a PS5. I don't want that. As much as I kind of sometimes like, oh yeah, I'm like, no, I don't, because you wouldn't get the games that they make if they were all big, powerful, expensive consoles all the time, right? So, but anyway, that is another week. Hopefully you'll see this, because I haven't cocked it up. Don't forget to check out Chris's appearance on the Monster Mash podcast. If I can remember, I'll put a link in the description, so check that out. We will be back next week with more than likely probably early Outriders first impressions. So we will try and play it this week. Obviously, it comes out Thursday, so we'll probably try and play that. Maybe even try and play something.
Day off Thursday.
There you go. So you download it overnight, Craigo. Hopefully they let you preload it. I don't know if they will or not. Hopefully they will. And we'll be able to talk about that. But yeah, thank you for watching, guys, and we will see you next week.
Bye.